Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another ReZero video. Um, Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're having a good day or night wherever you are right now. So today, as usual, we're getting right back into it, man. I'm excited. In the last part, it was pretty much just seeing Subaru and his dad talk the entire time, just having conversation, seeing their interactions. Kenji pulled a couple pranks on the man. Poor Subaru. God bless his heart. Um, Other than that, oh, of course, somehow Subaru heard Amelia while, well, his dad Kenichi asked him, like, what girl you like, and I guess he's having a lot of troubles, like, processing that question, if I remember correctly. Like, he was having, convulsions, he was sweating, he was nauseated, but all that, like, pain or whatever ended when he heard the voice that sounded like a silver bell, which was obviously Amelia. So I don't know how he somehow remembered her. Like, I don't know if it's just if he was seeing memories of past events of what happened, or if Amelia is actually trying to, like, get in touch with him. But I doubt that, because Amelia is supposed to be taking a trial as well. So she has her own issues to deal with. So other than that, it seems Subaru is back to his senses. He might know what's going on, but he at least he knows, he remembers Amelia at the very least. I don't know if he remembers everything else, which you can assume he does, but you never know with this. So without further ado, let us just go right into it. So right before we ended last time, right, I found a girl I like, so I'm all right now. With the sight of the silver-haired girl still fresh in his mind, Subaru Natsuki confronted his own past. That's where we ended, last part. I found a girl I like. When he put the words on his lips once more, Subaru had the palpable sense of his heart walking forward. The inside of his head was clear, the pain, like a prolonged curse, had vanished, and Subaru had resolve sufficient to face his father and tell him everything. Literally just from hearing Amelia's voice, man. Before his eyes, wait, hold on. His father and tell him everything. So I'm guessing he's gonna tell him everything that's been holding him down, his struggles and whatnot. Before his eyes, Kenichi blinked several times over, surprised by the confession disconnected from the conversation to that point. Is that so? With a quiet voice, he lent the words of Subaru, the words of his own son, his ears. His demeanor was a blessing to Subaru, even though Subaru ought to have always known he was the kind of man to lend an ear like that. Subaru had continued to hold his tongue, but that had come to an end. Yes, sir, yes, sir. That was because there was someone gently pushing on his back, urging him forward. What might have shaken me up? What might have made me curl up in a ball? I remember it all now. No, I knew everything all along. I knew it, but I just pretended to not see the weakness in me that I thought only I noticed. But while I was pretending, he couldn't hide it by saying someone. He knew who that someone was. I wanted Dad and Mom to smack me. Like, smack some sense into him? Blank. I was an unsalvageable little good-for-nothing idiot, a complacent piece of garbage, so I wanted you two to smack me, to make me give that up. Without a word, Kenshi gazed at Subaru, his eyes never wavering. The face Subaru saw reflected in those eyes was altogether too weak, unworthy of pity, and thus he continued. I've used any petty little tricks I could since a long time ago. Whether it's studying or athletics, I easily pulled off stuff not that many people can do, leaving the people who can't do it all mystified. Thinking back to his youth, he could have called what he'd had an adorable sense of omnipotence. At a young age, Subaru had been quicker on the uptake with both athletics and academics than the average person. I mean, we always knew he was pretty good, like, athletically, but I don't remember it mentioning, like, he was good at academics as well. So he's pretty naturally just good at that stuff, but he never put his talents to good use, I suppose. Subaru had been quicker on the uptake with both athletics and academics than the average person. As if by nature, he was more clever and fleeter of foot than those around him, inevitably becoming the center of attention among children his own age. He really is that man's son. Thus was Subaru praised. Thus did the adults close to home praise him frequently. Since that him was his father, the young Subaru had been proud to be valued as his son. For in the eyes of the son, the father, Kenichis Natsuki, was an attractive individual. He laughed a lot, he smiled a lot, he cried a lot, he got angry a lot, he moved a lot, he worked a lot. There were always a great deal of people around his father. He was adored by many, and his smiling face was the axis around which they revolved. And that very father announced in public that the two members of family, Subaru and his mother, were the most precious things to him of all. Subaru took pride in that. He felt like it gave him a special right to a boastful sense of superiority. Someday, he wanted to be like his father. To Subaru, that was a natural wish. But at some point down the line, I don't remember it, but I lost a foot race to someone. I went from being number one to not being number one. Faster, smarter guys than me came out of the woodwork, and I dropped from number one bit by bit. I thought, there's got to be something wrong with this. The more the wrongness got to him, the more the star above his head seemed to move away. With each and every glimmering star between him and it forming the path he needed to take to get closer. He harbored nervousness that the star might disappear, but even with that impatience within him, he really is that man's son. Those words alone were Subaru's salvation, the hope to which he clung. Even if he was not as fleet of foot, even if he was not as good at studying, those words bolstered the young Subaru's dignity. More than training to run fast, more than doing his homework, he came to put stupid things first. He sneaked into school at night with his friends, wandered aimlessly around town, chased a famously dangerous stray dog from everyone's hangout spot. In this way, Subaru ran around protecting his pride to keep everyone from being fed up with him, thus protecting the meaning of his own existence. Damn. So he's trying to follow in his father's footsteps, perhaps? Huh. It's stupid to work hard. Having fast feet is nothing to be proud of. How I made everyone laugh was a lot stronger and more impressive than that. What others feared, he made his priority. What others detested, he made his own desire. Thus, he continued to challenge himself with precious care, with bold recklessness, so that he did not lose his place. But of course, the longer that continued, the next thing I was going to do had to be even bigger. I couldn't do anything that was smaller than what came before it. I didn't want anyone to think I was boring. Thus, Subaru's actions had to be more and more extreme. Subaru Natsuki had to be braver than anyone, more extravagant than anyone, more liberated than anyone. He had to be someone everyone could continue to look up to. Damn, we're learning a lot about Subaru here. It's all this stuff, man. This is nuts. Wow. That was the veneer he adopted. Using the veneer, he hid the fact that it was a veneer, so even he couldn't notice it. And he had to do more and more and more and more to deceive himself and the people around him. After all, he was Kenichis Natsuki's son, Subaru Natsuki. I thought I can do anything. I made myself I can think I can do anything. That's how what I did got stupid. Just me flailing around without any thoughts. And so he was like a moth drawn to the flame, seeking light, never realizing that it would burn him. However, Subaru was not a moth, and the same went for Subaru's friends. His friends had gotten it a long, long time ago. There hadn't been any particular trigger for it. The number of friends associating with Subaru's recklessness dwindled. I thought those guys are dimwits. You'll never have this kind of fun if you aren't together with me. I make those guys regret it. They could just idly pass the time away with boring stuff. I was aiming for even higher places. If he continued chasing the star like that, he'd lose sight of the other stars above his head. Unable to see all the stars filling up the sky, Subaru desperately chased after the glimmer of the one star that remained, gazing at the star alone as he continued running after it, when he suddenly realized there's no one left around but me. Naturally, with Subaru continuing to do things his own way, heedless of everything around him, even the people who thought it was funny at first would not follow as he escalated his exploits to new heights. Not noticing this, he distanced himself from them, laughing. Oh man. We're just sorry I'm not really giving my thoughts on all this. It's just a lot. We're just learning so much about how he was back then with other people. Not noticing this, he distanced himself from them, laughing derisively at them and calling them dimwits. But Subaru, now the only one left, found his thoughts harboring worry and doubt, and thus he distanced himself even more, and thus did the cycle repeat itself until, even though the sky has so many glittering stars, I lost sight of every last one. Having lost sight of the starlight, having lost all the friends around him, when Subaru was left all alone, enveloped by darkness, he finally came to realize it for himself. He wasn't a special person at all. He really is that man's son. Those were the magical words that the young Subaru had embraced with pride. But somewhere along the line, the words transformed into a curse. Wow. Okay. So yeah, I mean, it just seems like obviously Subaru is really looked up to his father, it seems, and I think he was influenced by him in a sort of way. Like he wanted to live up to the expectations of being Ken's son. Like when his acrobatics and his academic skills were getting outmatched by the people, he went from number one to started dwindling one by one. He needed something new to make himself shine, make himself the star. You know, like I said, he wanted to live up to the expectation of being Ken's son. He wanted to feel special. But I guess as time went on, as his actions got bigger and bigger, people just started getting sick of it, sick of his nonsense or whatever. And at the end, he ended up all alone, and then he felt that despair. I think he he just got all alone. But yeah, let's continue to read on. The curse rotted his heart. When he lost his place, he felt as if someone was chasing him, making him unable to breathe. By going outside, walking around town, I understood. Wherever I went, whatever I saw, there were traces of my dad everywhere. Of course there were. In Subaru's confined world, he had come to admire his father. He'd wanted to see the same sights as his father had. The Subaru who sought the same things his father had found everywhere he went. There was nowhere he could look within that confined world and not sense traces of his father. In stages, the world became a scary place for Subaru. What simultaneously rotted Subaru's heart was the realization he himself was mediocre, and the realization he didn't want either of his parents or any of the people who knew his father to know this. In other words, shame. Yeah, as I was saying, he just wanted to live up to the expectation of being his son, man. So he's just hiding away. He just couldn't handle the shame, I guess. Subaru Natsuki, the son of Kenichis Natsuki, could not become known as a person who shrank in timidity from the public's gaze, a coward whose head harbored misconceptions and fear about a widening world. From late elementary to middle school, through strenuous effort, Subaru managed to pass the time without standing out whatsoever. Classmates who knew Subaru from his lower school years couldn't wrap their heads around the change in Subaru. But even they, children at an emotionally sensitive point in their lives, never noticed the darkness enveloping their fellow classmates' heart. So it was like... Okay, never mind. And what put him beyond salvation was that Subaru was crafty where the issue was concerned. Though he passed his school days without standing out, he continued to behave in the same old, uninhabited manner at home. Even just remembering it, I shudder at how I passed the time back then. But that's how I managed to get through middle school. Even though we lived in the same town, most of my classmates stopped going to the same school as me. Guess because of test results? Even Subaru, who spent several years in such a backwards thinking fashion, harbored a faint hope from the radical change in environment. When he advanced into high school, the environment, one where no one knew his past, might generate new relationships, and if that was to happen, no one would see Subaru as Kenichis Natsuki's son. Mustering all the meager courage inside himself, Subaru decisively stepped off the beaten path. So what happened in high school to make him cower back? Even for me, it totally blew my grand high school debut. A guy who couldn't have proper interpersonal relationships in middle school was never gonna cut in a place with all new faces. I did bold and reckless stuff to shake off the tension, and the result was even an idiot could guess. Even though it'd be plain to be an idiot, to Subaru it was not. The result hardly needed to be spelled out. Subaru had never seen examples of how to approach other people beyond those of his father. He had nothing save his father as a reference for how to build relationships in a new environment. So it's like he's not even his own person almost. He's trying to pick up traits from his father. Wow. Like he really looked up to his father, and like he really is Kenichi's son. That little phrase got to him. Even if he knew stuff to make people laugh at a young age, the classmates undergoing psychological changes on the way to the second stage of their lives. It was nothing but poison. From the first step into a new environment, he had gone badly astray. Thus, Subaru established his isolated position as a dork, someone who couldn't read the mood. He wasn't ostracized. He simply spent his school life being treated like thin air, and then, as the days passed, one morning he thought, I just don't want to go to school today. It was a morning when errands meant Dad and Mom were both out, so even when it was past the usual wake-up time, I turned over and nodded back off. I was super surprised when I realized it was just before noon. After that, when I got up to change in a huge hurry, Subaru realized that his own mind and body were exceptionally at ease. Oh, so he just... Yeah. He loved that feeling. He was content. He was content with that. He didn't want to change that. Wow. After that, it was just a drag. I skipped one day a week. Then it was once every 3 days. Then it's once every 2. It didn't even take 3 months before I stopped going to school altogether. Jeez. The days that followed hardly needed to be spoken of. Once he stopped going to school, Subaru's heart was filled with a sense of relief. Yes, he was liberated from the painful times he underwent while at school, but that wasn't the main reason. It wasn't a big reason either. He became Subaru Natsuki, smug juvenile delinquent. Looking at the Subaru, no one would think he really is that man's son anymore. But more than that, the exceedingly pathetic sight of Subaru, like that, would make both his father and mother stop loving him. No matter how unsightly, how deplorable Subaru had become, both his parents had loved him. That's what scarred him the most. Nothing frightened Subaru as much as that fact. And then, to Subaru Natsuki, Kenshi Natsuki and Nahoko Natsuki would say, I don't love you, I hate you. You're not my child. I wanted you to do that, to say that, to throw me aside. I wanted to make you give up on me. Oh my God, this is deep. And he's saying all this to his father right now. He's talking his heart out, man. Wow. This is just crazy. He just wanted his parents to throw him to the side like that, to forget about him. With fleeting hope, he looked up at the sky, expecting to find the star that could never have been. A human being as pathetic and mewling as Subaru was a fool unworthy of being Kenji Natsuki's son. And thus, he wanted to be cast aside. Again, I was just saying, as the book says, he just couldn't live up to that expectation in his head. So he felt like he didn't deserve to be viewed as a son, as their family. So he just wanted to be cast aside. That's tough, man. That is tough, honestly. Oh my God, I gotta position myself and get a drink. A human being as pathetic and mewling as Subaru's fool unworthy of being his son, wanted to be cast aside. Not even Subaru himself realized that that's what rested within his own heart. Unable to accept how weak and stupid he was, pushing onto the others the task of cleaning up the mayhem that appeared in his wake, he averted his eyes, hating himself all the same. In spite of that, Subaru had ended up shunned and abandoned by all, because someone had to be there to support him. It is easy to give up. However, it does not suit you, Subaru. Is that Amelia saying that? I can't remember if she said that phrase before. The image of the silver girl imprinted on the backs of his eyelids now had a flickering blue radiance superimposed upon it. With that, a warm breeze blew into Subaru's heart, making him pledge to move his listless limbs once more. Subaru, I love you. With those words, she had given Subaru a push right when he should have been finished. Because he realized that, because he remembered that, he set his heart on walking forward from zero. And to do that, he had to settle things with the past, the minus that came before zero. Yes, my hero is the greatest in the whole world. That was Rem, right? Yeah, okay, yeah, I remember. That's what Rem said to Subaru. It's easy to give up, however, it does not suit you, Subaru. And then Amelia shows up in his mind after that. Subaru, I love you. But did Rem say that? I can't remember. Because Amelia has never said that. Having listened to Subaru's long monologue to its completion, I mean, his dad's probably just sitting there shocked out of his mind. Like, he probably does not expect that at all. Kenji closed his eyes, sinking to thought. In the end, the same as before, Subaru is forcing someone else to clean up after him. Because he lacked the courage to identify his own flaws, because he didn't want to become the greatest villain in his own world, because he wanted to be the heroic main character, he kept making someone else play the villain. He believed that if he did that, someday, Kenshi would break the door down, bringing it all to an end. He spent day after day in foolish sloth, expecting that someone else would handle things. It was with that deadlocked mental state that he arrived in the other world. And even in a place like that, Subaru continued his conceited ways, which, yeah, he did. Looking back on it. Until finally, Subaru, eyes closed, Kenji stood before Subaru and dressed him by name. When those words brought him back to reality, Subaru, damn, I was just thinking, when all this was going on, this is around the time he got teleported to the world. So that's interesting. That's what it says. When he was going through all this. Now, it all just makes so much more sense now, the way he behaved. Eyes closed, Kenshi stood before Subaru and addressed him by name. When those words brought him back to reality, Subaru looked up to his father. To Subaru, ready to accept whatever Kenshi might say, whatever Kenshi might think, in its full, unvarnished form, he... Fatherhead. Yeah. Taking an unexpected blow to his cranium, Subaru reeled as fireworks scattered in his eyes. Toward his son, eyes tearful from the sharp pain, Kenji powerfully thrust a finger, said, "You see that, Subaru? That's my angry blow. The fatherhead moved by filled with love." Kind of reminds me of what Subaru did to Rem. Back around, I think it was the first arc when he, did that same headbutt move when it was in that forest with all the mob beasts, if you guys remember that. With Rem and Ram. Wasn't that a heel drop? What head? Was that just to throw me off? Finally, we're back to the banter. That's what stretching after a bath does to you. Got my leg pretty high up there, didn't I? Well, he literally just... never mind. He just kicked him. He kicked him. What a beast. Kenichis began stretching his supple hip joints on the spot. His father's demeanor defied his expectations, leaving Subaru half in tears, unsure what he should say. Subaru had been expecting something else. Gotta say though, Subaru, you're, well, a pretty big moron. Pretty sure he said that to Rem too, back at the same spot. I might be wrong, but it's kind of like a throwback. Insulted by the rather disconnected words, Subaru couldn't get a single word out when Kenichis crossed his arms and continued. In the first place, there's a lot that rubs me wrong in the wrong way. But there's one thing that's the biggest. You're the one who thought you'd get me to hate you. The way you did it was rejecting school. And you thought somewhere along the line, your dad would blow a fuse and yell at you. That's stupid on a fundamental level, you know. I can't really say I disagree, but I mean, if you want me to abandon you, you've got to be more proactive about it. Who abandons his own kid just because he crawls into his own shell? If you want me to hate you, you should commit genocide on half the humanity for no particular reason. Then I'll hate you. This is amazing. It's so sad though, the way Subaru, his thought process was. Man, I love Kenichis though. He's awesome guy. That's a crazy thing to ask for. You don't see many villains like that, even in shonen manga. To me, what you wanted me to do is just as crazy. The blunt retort sounds Subaru. Got it? Even if you're as slow-witted as a snail, a big idiot who can't even pick a banana hanging in front of his face, or even someone who bragged about harming himself on some big, high-profile blog. I ain't that slow-witted or stupid. But even if you're slow-witted, an idiot, or a moron, I wouldn't hate you or abandon you. That's how it should be, right? I'm your father and you're my son. Exhaling an exasperation as he spoke, Kenichis made an sound as he stretched his back. When he sat and Subaru, dumbfounded, gazed up at his father, Kenichis closed one eye. It's my son's twisted nature to be just short of dumb, just shy of an idiot, and on the straight line towards being a moron. If you really want, I expect that out of you by force, but it seems like you got up again after breaking down to the point that I don't need to. Perhaps Kenichis had seen something in Subaru's face. His words made Subaru slowly get up. When father and son faced each other head on, the son's expression made the father's moisten his lips. This morning, I thought, you've changed from before all of a sudden. What happened to your face? I told you, I found a girl I like. A silver radiance led Subaru Natsuki by the hand. Besides, there was a girl who said she would love even a guy like me. A warm blue light gently pushed on Subaru Natsuki's back. Those girls, they don't know me as the son of Kenichis Natsuki. They know him as Subaru. Oh, so fucking good, dude. Oh my god. This is so good. Oh my god, man. It's literally just such good conversations with his dad. Like, we're learning so much. It's just crazy, like, I know I say that so much, it's just crazy, but it's so much development, man. It really is. But when he said this morning, I thought you've changed from before all of a sudden, what happened to your face? And then he says, I told you, I found a girl I like. That doesn't make sense because he didn't really know of Amelia when he first awoke in the trial, so that's what I don't understand there. Those girls, they don't know me as the son of Kenichis Natsuki. When I'm with them, I'm just Subaru Natsuki. No. Shaking his head, he gazed firmly at the father before him and went on. I was Subaru Natsuki in front of everyone, all on my own. I worried about being some poster child and ended up crushed by a weight that wasn't even really there. I finally get that now. Natsuki long enough. I'm the central pillar of the family. A guy who didn't inherit the job had better not carry any social burdens like that till you're a full member of society. I'll slap you silly otherwise. This coming from a guy who dropped his heel into my head just now. When Subaru complained again about the painful blow, Kenchi went, sorry, smiling without a shred of guilt. Then Kenchi's eyes became tense. More importantly, you said you found a girl you like, and you said there was a girl who said she likes you. What's up with that? Are you two-timing them? A guy like the... I mean, you know, in the anime this didn't happen, but in the light novels, Rem did suggest having both of them be together, being all of them together, so he's not completely off the mark, you know. Where was I? What do you mean, a guy like me? And to be honest, even I think I'm not qualified, but I can't help it. So I have two number one stars. What's the big deal? It was unforgivable no matter how he might frame it, but at that moment, those were Subaru's honest feelings. He loved Amelia, he loved Rem. They'd given Subaru the strength to stand, to walk, and to face his own past, even in front of Kenichi. The light that the pair gave off rivaled the starry sky Subaru had once had above his head. When Subaru was outside his room, unexpectedly invited to another world, he became desperate, suffered pain and anguish, cried out in tears, lamented in rage, laughed in delight, and finally obtained a new sky filled with stars. Now that, my friends, is beautiful. Well, it's fine if you can get by without making the two of them cry. By the way, don't make them cry. If you can manage that, I won't object. Looks like you got your own way with people about that. If I had that, my high school debut wouldn't have been such a black stain in my past. I can't do it like you did. Do you really think that? You're my son, you know. Besides, it seems like you got a bunch of misunderstandings about me, but that one's the worst, I figure. That? As Subaru inclined his head, Kenchi wagged a finger atop his crossed arms. Yeah, I'm all bouncy like this in front of you and Mom, but Daddy completely behaves according to time, place, the occasion, okay? Maybe you wouldn't know it because I'm always in full throttle family love mode in front of you all, but what, you think Daddy can pull an act like that and it'll just work on everyone? Wait, hold on. Ain't it obvious? No one wants to get close to a guy who's that high tension the first time you meet him. That's why you've got to keep your collar straight until you get along better. You've got to wait a while before you undo the buttons, and that's what Subaru didn't do. Like in high school, he just went full throttle in front of everyone. He didn't get to know him first, slowly. He just... Like, his father literally just revealed the secret to him. If you start in April, you gotta hold out until the end of June for that. The shocking truth, father revealed to be a man of common sense and appropriate conduct. He didn't even know. Ignorant of this until now, Subaru had been shallow enough to believe he could just mimic his father and become a popular guy. Why'd I agonize for all this time then? Don't worry about it. It's my fault for not noticing how much he looked up to me because I'm simply that awesome. Sorry, even though I'm just too big a presence in your life. Even though it's true, I really don't feel like acknowledging it. Patting the lamenting Subaru on the shoulder, Kenji did what he always did. Step on the knife parts of Subaru and grind him underfoot. As he quipped at his father, Subaru felt something hard and heavy inside his heart fade away and vanish. The dark recesses were brightening with the approach of daybreak, and his vision opened to greet the dawn. Subaru had confessed that he was conceited and self-serving, and yet the result was only relief. Facing his past like that was making a statement, parting ways with his weakness and embracing what he wanted for himself in the future. His current self could walk forward with pride from now on.
So I'm wondering, did he do it then? This was like the big thing he had to face. It had to be. I couldn't imagine anything else. Like just the expectation of living up to being the son of his father, and then just falling in despair after. I don't know. Like you think the trial would be done by now, but I think there's still some more stuff. Facing his past like that was making a statement, parting ways with his weakness, and embracing what he wanted for himself in the future. His current self could walk forward with pride from now on. That was why, don't blush so much. You're still my son with my blood in you. I'm sure you've got it in you to be half as cool as I am. All I have, normally your dreams get refined as you spend time in the world, right? But half of you comes from your mom, you see. Even if you got my coolness in you, the Nahoko part cancels it out, so don't feel like I can expect much from the final judgment. Sorry, Mom, he's got me there. Unable to stand up for his mother, he wasn't present. Subaru put his empty hands together and apologized. Laughing at the sight, Kenchi let his shoulders sink in expiration as he moved on. This should lessen the burden on your shoulders a bit. The rest is talk about the future. It's all ahead from here. I really am sorry for causing you all that trouble. If you feel sorry about it, just spend a proper amount of time paying us back. You're the oldest son, so you better take really good care of me and your mom later in life. When those words were spoken to him, Subaru was unable to move. He's stuck in the other world, though. He can't do that. He had the resolve to apologize for how he had been to date. He had the determination to confess his current feelings. These things he had accomplished, finally dissolving that which had haunted Subaru for many long years, making him think he could face his father and mother again with sunny feelings. He confessed everything about himself to date. And I don't know. Ugh. He's going through something right now, some kind of pain. But the instant the conversation broached from there on, what permitted Subaru's entire being was, I'm sorry. Subaru, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Oh no, what is happening? It's because when thinking about moving forward, he's not in that world anymore. He can't take care of his father. He can't start making things better. And maybe that's getting to him. From the front of him came Kenichi's bewildered voice. But Subaru couldn't see his face. The flood of tears pouring forth clogged Subaru's vision, making the contours of the world vague. He covered his face with his palms, desperately trying to wipe the overflowing tears. However, as much as he tried, the tears were unending. They wouldn't stop. He couldn't stop. I'm sorry. I can't be together with him. Oh my god. Oh, this is so sad. Oh my god, bro. He finally realized it, man. He can't stay. After going through all that and realizing like he's not gonna be able to fix this stuff, like I don't. This must be. He can't even explain to his father or mother or anyone. It's just ugh. That's truly sad, man. He realized that somewhere in his heart. He realized it long before. He'd been invited into another world. The first instant the dazzling light of sun shone down on him, making him squint. It had been like a revelation, and somewhere deep inside, Subaru had known. He'd probably never return to his own world again. His parents had raised him well enough for him to find the strength to repent before his father like that. Confess the dark emotions rolling inside his chest, and yet gain forgiveness. All that was underpinning his resolve to walk forward once more. But in spite of that, I haven't given everything back. I'll probably never see again. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he can't. He can't start correcting his wrongs. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The tears would not stop. There, that moment, ferocious emotions seemed to churn inside him. Yet even so, Subaru remained standing, not crumbling to the ground. Here, there was someone who'd held Subaru as he cried, supporting his son. Now almost as tall as he was, he patted Subaru's back with his big, strong palms like he would for any. Oh my god. I'm sorry, guys. Like, this is really fucking sad. I'm acting like a little bitch right now, but this is really, really something. This is incredibly sad. I couldn't even stop. I keep reading there. Oh. I'm sorry. That's sad as hell, man. I didn't expect this shit. Supporting his son, now almost as tall as he was, he patted Subaru's back with his big, strong palms like he would for any crying child. Goodness, no matter how much time passes, you're still a high maintenance son. Oh my god, dude. Just look. Just fucking look, bro. That is so. I'll just put it up on the screen. I'll take a picture. I'm trying my hardest not to fucking bawl like a little right now, you know? That's embarrassing. It's just, I could really feel for him right there, man. Seriously, like, I could just see him and his dad, like, I'm sorry, I just can't really explain myself. But I have to take a little break. I'm sorry. Alright, guys, that's the end of the chapter right there. I gotta say, what a fucking amazing chapter that was. Oh, just wait. I don't think that's the end of the chapter actually, but no, definitely not. Either way, so far this chapter is fucking amazing. Like, I can't even explain. It's so emotional, man. I just yeah, we got about, what is it? We're on page 190, 198 or something. Jeez, we got about like 20 more pages left to get to the next chapter. But holy shit. I was just extremely emotional. I could really feel the emotions there. It was just, once that gets animated, I assume that's gonna be like episode maybe 6 or 7, I don't know, maybe earlier, but that's gonna be a tearjerker even more than just reading it. So that's gonna be something. It's gonna be something. What a beautiful read that was. There's so much progression and development. His dad is Kenichis is awesome. He's really there. He's not judging him at all. It's Subaru. He just, after having that talk with him, just realizing that he's not able to like actually stay and fix things, make things better, and prove himself in that world. He can't. He just doesn't belong there anymore, and that's what really got me and what got him. It's just so sad. And when he just started crying, his father just holding him, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. Man, so far this whole chapter has just been him and his dad talking, and I wouldn't have it any other way, because this is just amazing so far. I don't know how many times I'm gonna say that, but I don't know what else to say. It's just I don't know what to say right now. I'm just dumbstruck. How reading a book, I've never felt these type of ways, feeling these type of ways for these characters in a book. Like, a book has never done this to me, man. It just, cause I can envision it all perfectly. But yeah, I definitely am ending it there for sure. I don't know if I'll do like one big long video to finish off the chapter. I might do one more part or two more parts to finish the chapter for shorter videos. But either way, we're going through this. We're going through this, man. And thank you for watching if you made it this far. I'm sorry the way I am right now. Can't really think. But yeah, thank you for watching. And hopefully in the next couple parts there won't be as many tear-choking moments, because it kind of sucks crying like this on camera. But I'll see you guys in the next part. Hope you have a good day, night. Goodbye, all.